The Starry Night is one of my all-time favorite fish, not just cichlids, but freshwater fish overall. And I know a lot of people have interest in keeping them. So the question is, should you get a Starry Night cichlid? My answer, well, it depends. Let's talk about it. In my opinion, the biggest challenge with keeping Starry Nights isn't aggression. It isn't availability. It isn't water parameters, tank size, or difficulty of care. The real challenge is finding proper tank mates. And with so few Madagascan species in the hobby, the real question becomes, who should you house them with? Here's the truth. The internet is flooded with recycled misinformation about Starry Nights. In reality, despite their fearsome reputation, they're usually quite peaceful. In fact, outside of feeding time, you may barely even notice that they're there. They'll often blend into the shadows, instinctually waiting in ambush for prey that never comes. And as you can see here, I had to feed these guys to get them to even come out. I think that where people tend to go wrong is pairing them with hyper-aggressive species, trying to cram them into tanks that are way too small, skipping the line of sight breaks, and ignoring their water parameters. And that's when the problems start. So here's how I look at it. I tend to treat Starry Nights almost exactly like I do Oscars. And at first that may sound crazy because personality-wise, they're polar opposites. I mean, one hides constantly while the other demands to be seen, pretty much no matter what. But when it comes to tank mate selection, their overlap is almost identical. Because if it works with an Oscar, it will most likely work with a Starry Night and vice versa. That means avoiding hyper-aggressive species. Think many Central Americans and nearly all Malawi cichlids. So instead, I would focus on less active, less aggressive tank mates, such as severums, angelfish, geophagus, threadfinicaras, etc. And if you're planning on adding schooling fish, I would suggest things like full-grown rainbows, Congo tetras, or silver dollar, and avoid the smaller species that may get harassed or slowly picked off and eaten. Now let's clear up the African cichlid myth. Because yes, Starry Nights are African cichlids, but they're not Rift Lake cichlids, meaning they don't come from lakes Malawi, Tanganyika, or Victoria. So their dietary requirements and water chemistry don't directly align with any of the fish from these lakes. Starry Nights' natural water parameters are actually closer to neutral, or even slightly acidic, with significantly softer water, a lot more like New World cichlids, and I think a lot of people don't realize this. So could you keep them with Mbuna peacocks or haps? I mean, sure, people do it all the time, but should you? That's the real question. Long term? I say no, and here's why. Mbuna are hyper-aggressive territorial species willing to throw down over anything that they claim as their own. Whereas in my experience, most Starry Nights aggression is typically aimed at one another and not scattershot, meaning everything is fair game like Mbuna. So I'd in a completely different diet. Mbuna require a plant-heavy, moderate protein diet, whereas Starry Nights are protein-leaning omnivores, so long-term, it's really not a good fit. With peacocks and haps, their diet does align much better, but peacocks and haps are high energy and constantly in motion, and that non-stop activity is going to wear down your Starry Nights over time. Stress stunts growth, shortens lifespan, and it eventually can kill your fish. Starry Nights are much more deliberate, methodical, and low-energy fish, and they do way better in calmer setups. So here are the primary reasons why I treat Starry Nights like I do Oscars. First off, both are generally peaceful, but with potential for sudden chaos if the chemistry goes bad. Both grow into thick-bodied, tank-like fish capable of growing over 12 inches in length. Both are omnivores with carnivorous leaning. Both come from and prefer neutral to slightly acidic water. Both are what I would consider to be hardy, beginner-friendly, and pretty much as nearly bulletproof as they come, which of course sadly makes them prone to mistreatment. And at feeding time, both are very active feeders. Both can live well over a decade when cared for properly, and with both, aggression from the wrong tank mate can flip the kill switch in their brains that can end up in dead tank mates fast. One last point, if your Starry Night only lives for a couple of years and then suddenly drops dead out of the blue, then ask yourself, were the water parameters optimal? What kind of stress did your fish experience? Was it constant? these fish can easily push past a decade or more when cared for properly. So in summation, should you get a Starry Night cichlid? I say hell yes. So if you want to do what's right by them, avoid aggressive tank mates, give them space, cover, and a low-stress environment. Try to keep them in water parameters that support their longevity. And I believe that if you do this, you'll be rewarded with one of the most stunning, underrated, and misunderstood fish in the hobby, and a fish that may become one of your all-time favorites too. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Until next time.